Hey there viewer, summer is here, and with it, turn-based Thursday Fest, an entire week on Steam celebrating all games turn-based. So naturally, I'm taking a look over hundreds of cool upcoming stuff, try to show off a few that I really like. This time, I'm here with a title that has actually been on my radar for a while. This is Into the Grid, a roguelike deck builder with an honestly fascinating way of handling map-based progression. I have been playing this in early access for a while, but just now they updated their entire demo, so I'm gonna look what's changed. Going to do the tutorial here. My old pal Baribal sent me a grid simulator to learn how much runs have changed since my retirement. I better go over it and shake off the rust before heading to his practice grid. Sounds good, let's do that. Yeah, this is vastly different from the way it used to be. The old way was a purely 2D map-based environment. I dare say this is much better. Brings the whole cyberpunk aesthetic really nicely here. Let's see. Welcome to the grid. The grid is the digital infrastructure runner's hack. Grids are comprised of clusters, virtual rooms that hold nodes. So each of these that we are in is a cluster. Within it are the nodes. Nodes are the smallest functioning elements of the grid. You can move the camera using WASD, rotate it using the arrow keys, center on your character using the spacebar. Okay, move. Move around. Okay, center. Got it? Your objective in every run is to find the grid's core node and breach its mainframe. Click on that library node. This one right here. Nodes have different ways of being used. Try extracting that one. Okay, so these ones didn't change. Extract plus 40 shards. That's the currency. Extracting nodes will always provide shards. Shards are remnants of code that can be used as currency to buy things inside the grid. To move between clusters, you will need to pass through gates. Check out that gate. Yep. Ooh, you can zoom in too. Nice. I'm really digging this new style they're going for here. Most gates have specific conditions that need to be met to unlock them. Okay, so this is an activity gate. Unlock this by using all nodes in either cluster. So, either this or the other side, depending on where you are. That activity gate will be unlocked if all the nodes in the cluster are exhausted. Of course, you can only use these once. Extract the last library so you can open the gate. Okay. Then it turned green. The gate has been automatically unlocked because you've met its condition. Open the gate and advance. Okay, open it. Ooh. Nice reveal effect. This cluster has a watcher eyes protecting it. This main one right here. Most clusters will have a watcher monitoring them, placed there to penalize your actions. Penalize. I never know how to say that word. I never say it nearly as often as I like. Click on that library node to see another way you can interact with the node. While navigating the grid, some actions you take will increase your trace. Trace measures how aware of your presence the grid is. For every 10 points of trace gained, the grid will increase its alarm level, making the run more difficult and the enemies more dangerous. The watcher in this cluster is an extraction watcher. which will increase your trace whenever you extract a node here, making a usually free action raise your trace. Try exploiting that library. So exploit +1 trace plus 10% shards when extracting any nodes. Different nodes can be exploited for different effects. Exploiting the library node will increase the shard yield of every other node. Check how to advance further by inspecting that gate. Okay, this is the combat gate. Unlock this gate by defeating all sentinels in either cluster. Okay, must defeat all sentinel eyes in this cluster to unlock it. Sentinels are the grid's defenders, placed there to fight any intruders, kick them out of the grid, pinpoint their live location to the authorities or worse. Click on the node protected by the sentinel eyes to start combat. Okay, so the red rectangle is a combat, okay. Here we go, start combat. That also increases trace. Okay, yeah, this already looks more polished than the earlier version. Very nice. Everything you see is created by your console to provide you with information during combat. This is your console's integrity, a representation of how much damage it can take before it breaks. If it reaches 0, it's game over. Your health, in other words. The objective of every combat is to get the ice's integrity to 0 before it does the same to you. Naturally, your console will show the ice's intent here, and its inherent passive ability is here, okay? Playing cards cost clock. The card's clock cost is shown on the left, next to its name. Its energy cost, in other words. Let's take a look at you. At the end of its turn, this ice gains 10 barrier. That is block. And you're gonna gain 40. Okay, so you're not attacking. We can go with Cold Slash. Oh, okay, you don't drag it at the model. You drag it on the name, okay, I gotcha. Playing cards has been filling this yellow bar here. Yep. That's virtual memory, many cards generated, and it's used to activate your commands and trigger some cards' conditional effects. You can check how much Vim a card generates by counting the yellow symbols beneath its clock cost. These ones right here. Okay. Commands are powerful skills that can swing a battle in the blink of an eye. Normally, any given command can only be activated once per turn, so keep that in mind. Yeah, for 5 Vim, we have drawing a card. Don't have energy, so it's useless. Okay, now you're gonna look to deal 50 damage. I'd prefer if you didn't. That blue bar over your integrity is your barrier. Some cards generate it when it blocks incoming damage. Barrier expires at the start of your following turn. Okay, but that is also true for the enemies. So even if we don't attack now, it's gonna drop the barrier next turn. I'm digging the attack effect so far. Remember, you can visualize all the cards you can still draw in your repo. That's the draw pile right here. It even tells you the kinds of cards you have. Okay, you're not gonna attack this turn, so Goodbye. Ooh, nice death animation. Combat rewards. Shards. And a hash key. Resource used to unlock some gates, vary hash nodes. And you can only carry 4 of these at a time. That was enough to unlock that gate. After defeating that sentinel, you got a hash key. Hash keys are a resource used to rehash nodes and unlock some gates. They are mainly obtained by defeating sentinels. Now that this node does not have a sentinel on it anymore, you can interact with it. Exploit the compiler node and choose a card to add to your deck. Okay, hold. Nice effect. Let's see, hoplite, damage plus barrier, branding code slash damage, plus debilitated, or fang strike, damage plus feral. Well, a little bit of free block never hurt anyone. Confirm. Open that gate and move forward. Alright. Push. This cluster is controlled by an extraction watcher. There are also 3 gates. Inspect each one. Very well. So this is an activity gate. Need to use all nodes. This is a hash key gate. Spend the hash key. And this is also a hash key gate. Alright. Exploit the Intel node, which reveals a connected cluster. Select a gate to reveal. Okay, select that hash key gate over there to reveal what's on the other side and see if it's worth spending a hash key. Okay, confirm. That's lucky, you found a core node. Core nodes always have an exceptionally powerful sentinel on them, known as the Core Keeper. Explore more before going for it, just to be all set for the final battle. Exploit that source node to spend some of the shards you have. Okay, connect to surface. This is surface, or sur.face. The shop where you can exchange shards and other resources for cards, tools and more. Feel free to browse and buy. Leave when you're ready, and remember, you won't be able to come back until you find another source node. Wow, this is vastly different from the earlier version. Let's see what we have here. Fun guys. Generate temporary whim. Draw a card. What's this? Cost reducer. Reduce the cost of adjacent items by 25%. Very interesting. Add-on is Ad Blocker. 30 barrier. Draw a card. Another cost reducer. Crimson Assault. 30 damage. 4 temp whim. On hit. Gain 1 cached. That is, draw 1 extra card next turn. Okay, what's this? Completion bonus. If you buy all adjacent items, reduced raise by 2. Oh, wow. These are pretty cool. Scout probe. Reveal an area. Gate breaker. Unlock target gate. Okay, what's this? Moon driver. Every time you play 4 attack cards in a single turn, gain 3 feral. Turntable driver. You can use minor commands 2 times per turn. Feint driver. Every time you play 3 defensive cards in a single turn, gain 1 clock. Ah, drivers. So these are like the artifacts, as it were. Let's buy the barrier card. Oh, you need to hold. Okay. That's pretty dope. Let's exit. Eliminate that sentinel to access that render node. Okay. Saptroid. Every time this ice hits, restores integrity, equal to half the damage that. Okay, so I need to block everything you do. Deal 30 damage. Luckily I have a 30 block. Even more. Oh. Yeah, apparently a few cards are not actually in the game, so technically they do nothing. But that's gonna be patched out real soon. I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, while fighting in the grid, you may apply or receive buffs or debuffs. The statuses you're affected by are shown above your integrity, this one right here, and the ones affecting the enemy are next to theirs. They get it right here. So now we're exposed for one turn. Increase incoming damage by 30%. Okay, now you're gonna deal the big damage. Okay, and I have a code slash in the rep also. Drawing a card isn't really worth it. Well, I can mitigate most of it. Okay, deal 30 damage. Discard this one. I really like how dynamic the fights have gotten with all these camera changes and such. I think it's a really nice touch. Okay, I literally have no blocks. Yeah, this still does nothing. No matter. Okay, you can now rehash that render node. Rehashing nodes overhauls their functionality in a major way. It's resource consuming, but usually has a big payoff. So for 2 hash keys, obtain an icebreaker. Okay. Icebreakers are tools that can disable any ice instantly, whether Sentinel or Watcher. Explore the cluster behind the activity gate. Alright. This cluster has some incredibly useful nodes. However, it's also protected by an activity watcher, so using any of them in any way will greatly increase your trace. Use the icebreaker on the activity watcher to avoid the additional trace. Okay. Icebreaker. Sentinel. Okay, I would like a little more visual confirmation that I actually clicked the thing. But that's just me. There we go. Exploit every node here. I'm gonna start with you. Getting an extra card. Let's see, the Stray's Guile. 30 barrier to Grit. Grit is a buff that increases, I think, 5% more barrier per stack. Protocols are cards that change the rules of combat once played and get decompiled afterwards. Add that one to your deck. So if you're familiar with Slay the Spire, these are basically your powers. Cornucopia Protocol, at the start of your turn, generate 3 Vim. That's pretty powerful. I'll take that. Okay, it's a driver. Drivers are segments of source code you can pick up and will grant different bonuses for the run. Relics, basically. Rooster Driver. At the start of each combat, generate 3 Vim. That's basically the power we just picked up. Stream Driver. Every time you play 4 attacks in a single turn, draw a card. I don't really see how I can achieve that at this point. Edge Driver. Code / cards deal 20% more damage. I think I'm gonna go with Rooster Driver. Generate a lot more Vim. Okay, here you can see it. Here we have an upgrader. Upgrade a card. I don't remember if this was in the earlier version that I played. Okay, we already know that Hoplite is bugged, so not gonna upgrade that. You can't upgrade protocols. I can, however, upgrade you. Gives 1 cached, which is extra draw the next turn. I really like this upgrade animation. Okay, alarm level increased because we reached 10th race. Okay, what's this? So, that last action raised the grid's alarm level. In this case, raising the alarm level caused that gate to close and that sentinel to spawn. Okay, so it's not just that everything gets stronger, it actually puts enemies in your way. I kinda like that. The gate can be opened, but it will now raise your trace. I see. You've gotten everything out of this cluster, move on. Eliminate the newly spawned sentinel and open the gate to get to the core node. Not that I have other choice. In combat, you can check your active drivers and their effects here. I know that already. Thank you. Okay, first you're gaining barrier. Gives me time to do this. As we said before, protocols are permanent combat modifiers. Once played, the protocols themselves are decompiled, but their effects linger until the end of combat. A zeroing shot deals 30 damage. Okay. I am protected. Just gain a little extra Vim. Bullet Hell. 20 damage 4 times. Wow. And you have a passive. Every time this ice hits, it defleets 1 exposed. So each hit that I don't defend is gonna get me an exposed. Alright then. And Cyber Shell. If you have at least 10 Vim, which I do, gain 40 barrier, decompile. Gonna have to use this one. Okay, now I need just 1 more. Here we go. This hoplite is just 3 discard. Use this. Little extra vim. Okay, draw 1 card. Gain 2 clock. And we're done. Nice. Okay, get the rewards. Yeah, okay. Now I have to increase trace. You are now ready to breach the mainframe and face the core keeper of this grid. Remember, you can customize your commands for combat here. You can do so at any point during the run. Well, obviously not during combat, but yeah, anytime outside of that. Let's see. There's a minor command. We're currently on scout. Draw a card for 5 vim. There's roar, gain 2 feral for 6 vim. Okay, it's not listing the effect right here. But I know what it is. Feral is a buff. That's the sister to grit. So grit increases your defense and feral increases your attack. We have farm for 4 vim. Every time you play a card this turn, generate 1 vim. I think I passively make enough vim per turn that I don't need this. Let's go with the roar for this. For major command we had dig, draw 3 cards, discard 1 for 10 vim, choose up to 2 cards from recycler, place them in your hand. Recycler is your discard pile. Tutor, choose 1 card from your repo, place it in your hand. 9 vim, it's basically a targeted draw. Recur, the next non-protocol card you play this turn will be returned to your hand. Okay, so if you're out of luck and only have 1 block card and you really need to block, you can use this to use it twice. Okay, I think I'm good with dig. Critical command, energize, draw a card, gain 2 block for 18 vim, or optimize. Discard a card from your hand, reduce its clock cost by 1 until the end of combat for 16 vim. Yeah, that can be pretty powerful. Let's leave things like this. Good luck in the final battle, runner. Thank you. Now, let's see what this... Oh, before that, need to open the gate. Silly me. Now let's face the core keeper. Okay, who are you? Some sentinels have companion devices or independent parts of themselves called peripherals to aid them in combat. Disabling them is not mandatory to win the combat. Well, this is new. Peripherals have their own separate integrity and subroutines and must be targeted separately by single target attacks. Interesting. Disabling a peripheral will set off its death trigger, which you can check here. Okay, so if I remove this, it's gonna do a stun. And I don't think you grow back. Oh, and it even shows which part it is. That's nice. Okay. At the end of this Ice's turn, Joe restores 20 integrity. Alright. And as long as you're alive, we're gonna pump it full of barrier. Oh, I'm really digging these new animations. It's much more lively than the old version. Okay, deal 40 damage. Please don't. Okay, 20 damage. You're actually starting to annoy me. Alright, 40 damage. Fully blocked. Okay, this should hit both of them. Oh, and you're stunned. Didn't even need to block. Okay, now you're dealing 50 damage. That's rude. Let's get some Pharaoh going in here. Okay, let's see. Each point increases. Outgoing damage by 5%. Decays 1 point each turn. Oh, okay. So this is a marked improvement in the early access version. This was permanent, so you could just build infinitely. That was fun, but I also like this. Okay. I can just keep applying this every turn. I think that's the idea here. Okay, that was 50, so need another one. Alright, 40 damage. And goodbye. Tutorial completed. The grid simulator wasn't that much of a challenge. I think I'm ready to try out the demo run. Well, okay, I think I'm not ready to do the demo run. That used to run like 2 to 3 hours, depending. I imagine that hasn't changed that much, and I don't have the time for that. But if you're interested in seeing that, then do let me know in the comments, and I might make another video with the demo run. If not, then go check it out for yourself. I'm gonna leave a link to the game in the description, so make sure to check it out, wishlist it. I think this is gonna be not quite the Spire Slayer, but it's gonna be really popular. Anyway, this is Into the Grid. I'm Green Pangolin, and I'm gonna be back with something cool I find. See you next time.